Good afternoon, Kitchissippi. It is Saturday, September the 23rd. This is a video version of the 109th Kitchissippi Ward newsletter. I'll be putting the newsletter out tomorrow. It comes out about once a week or so by email. It has a lot more details, links on the issues that we'll be covering. If you're not subscribed, go to kitchissippiward.ca to subscribe today. Several open houses, development related to tell you about. The first of those is one that we're going to host on October the 4th. That will be at the Van Lang Fieldhouse to take a look at the official plan amendment and zoning bylaw amendment that is being proposed to implement the 1/3, 2/3 development park proposal by the NCC. Back in 2015, the NCC and the city arrived at a settlement of a long-standing Ontario Municipal Board dispute to allow the NCC to develop 1/3 of the land. In 2015, we thought that would be clustered on the eastern side of the site. After consultations about how to develop the Sir John A. Macdonald Park, Linear Park, the NCC has come back with a proposal now to cluster that development up against Richmond Road. Come on out, take a look. I'm curious to hear your feedback. That open house again will be on October the 4th at the Van Lang Fieldhouse. That is at 29 Van Lang Private from 6:30 until 8:30. Another open house being held on October the 11th, again at the Van Lang Fieldhouse, again from 6:30 until 8:30, to take a look at the development proposal for 1976 Scott Street. This is the parcel that is just across from the trailhead site, across McRae on Scott Street. We saw a version of that at an open house a while ago that was 22 stories. The developer has now come back with a 25-story proposal. The 9-story part of that building that they had originally proposed is now down to 6. Come on out and take a look. I am opposed to any kind of intensification at that scale ahead of a comprehensive, defensible, modern secondary plan for Westboro. And another open house will be held on September the 25th, this one in Carlington, to take a look at the implementation of the zoning to do the Civic Hospital at the Experimental Farm and Dow's Lake Queen Juliana Park site. That open house is going to be held at the Alexander Community Centre at 960 Silver Street. It will be held from 6:30 until 9 p.m. to take a look at that zoning for the Civic Hospital. The Committee of Adjustment is back. It was an odd week, an odd hearing a couple of weeks ago. There was nothing Kitchissippi related, but on October the 4th, we do have several items on the Committee of Adjustment. At 430 Princeton and 550 Cole, the owner seeking to demolish the existing structure and I believe garage to build a 2-story semi-detached house. They are looking for variances only associated with the minimum lot width and minimum lot area. At 235A and 430 Princeton, 550 Cole, they are also seeking a variance on the corner side yard setback. The bylaw requires 6 meters. They want 4.5. At 235A, 235B Royal Avenue, the owner is seeking to sever, demolish the existing dwelling, then construct a 2-story semi-detached dwelling with variances that are being sought for minimum lot width and areas. And at 19 Merton, the owner is seeking to sever and build a 3-story semi-detached house, each with secondary dwelling units. They need a number of variances associated with those for interior side yard setbacks, as well as to allow front yard parking. All of those plans and details are in the newsletter linked to the Committee of Adjustment agenda site. My next pop-up hours are going to be hosted at the Cupcake Lounge at 324 Richmond Road. I'm hosting those pop-up hours there from 10 until 1 on September the 28th. Come on by, chat about anything that's on your mind, Kitchissippi or city related. I am going to host a primer on Kitchissippi infill. This is obviously something that we have been talking a lot about. I've prepared a presentation to describe what is the statutory framework under which infill happens, who is responsible for what, why are we seeing so much of it in the neighborhood. It is a flood of questions related to that Committee of Adjustment hearings agenda every 2 weeks when a new sign goes up on a property. I'm hosting a Facebook Live session that will be archived on October the 5th at 8 p.m. So if you want to learn more about infill, tune in live. You'll have a chance to pose questions while the session is underway. I'll have that archived as well. The Byron multi-use path construction closure. A number of you found out quite suddenly this week that the Byron multi-use path is closed between Granville and Island Park Drive. They're building a new improved path there. It's going to be a beautiful 3 meters wide. Unfortunately, on Tuesday morning when that was closed, there were no flag people to direct the kids or people. There were no signage indicating where the detour is. Thank you very much to those of you who notified me about that. I was on site a few times that day. There is now signage. There are flag people to show people the detour, which is on Byron Avenue, just on the south side sidewalk. They are doing the granular base in about a week and a half. That should be down. They're hoping to tamp it down, get some stone dust in there so it'll be easily traversable. They'll wait for the delivery of asphalt, close it for another couple of days, a day or so to get that asphalt done, and then they'll have to potentially close it for another day in order to finish off the landscaping there. So not too much longer to have that closed, but I do apologize for the abrupt way in which that was done. Hey, do you want to win a rain barrel? The Pinecrest Neighborhood Rain Project is an education effort to teach people about storm water management. They're doing a survey. The link is in the newsletter. If you fill out that survey, you have a chance to win a rain barrel. So take a look at the link that's in the newsletter. I hope you fill in that survey today. The Hintonburg Community Association is hosting its annual general meeting on September the 27th. I'm looking forward to being there. It'll be held from 7 until 9. As usual, the doors open at 6:30 so that you can renew your membership. And interestingly, there's going to be a pop-up, a refreshed furniture pop-up that's going to be held on Somerset Square on Saturday, September the 30th. Malenka Originals is one of the driving forces behind that. There are going to be artisans from across the city specializing in repainting and refinishing furniture. On Saturday, September the 30th, they'll be in Somerset Square. It should be a hoot to take a look at what people have created. Really exciting event coming up, the Family Services Ottawa Music on a Mission. I've talked about it a few times. It's one of my favorite events of the year. Wild night of music trivia, fantastic silent auction, all to benefit Family Services Ottawa. Take a look in the newsletter where I have a link to that. At City Hall, we had a relatively busy week. Both Transit Commission and Environment Committee met last week. I sit on both. There was an interesting discussion at Transit Commission as we delved into what is roughly a 3% year-over-year first 2 quarters of the year ridership decline. All kinds of discussion around, is Uber, is cycling, is LRT related construction, why is that decline there? And then the next day at Environment Committee, we debated the new water and sewer rates. I think many of you have read about the new water and sewer rate approach, which would see for the next 10 years or so an average 4.8% increase per year. I did vote in favor of it. I will probably vote in favor of that when it comes to City Council next week. It is the most important infrastructure we have, and it's critical to me that it be maintained in good shape. There are only so many ways to pay for that. Either we can borrow the money to maintain our infrastructure today and put that cost and interest cost onto our kids, or we can pay higher rates. So I am supporting paying higher rates for water to maintain that critical infrastructure. And also on Tuesday, the Planning Committee will meet. It's going to be a pretty packed one, but I didn't see any particularly contentious items in there. The agenda is in the newsletter. On Wednesday, City Council will meet. I think the big ticket item on that will be those stormwater rates that we recommended for approval at the Environment Committee meeting. That will probably generate the most headlines that day. The weeks are passing by in a blur right now. I expect things to be very, very busy ahead of the pre-election slowdown. A number of different meetings that I have with residents around construction projects, around development over the course of the next week. I'm looking forward to getting to the Hintonburg Community Association's annual general meeting. Freenet is hosting its 25th anniversary. I'm looking forward to attending that. And I did want to give a shout out in this video newsletter to Ottawa City staff. Fisher Park Splash Pad, which is right behind me, has been busted for for a while. It did make some good headlines this week when the city decided to keep its splash pads open. As you can see, it is a scorcher out here, and I'm glad those splash pads are open right across the city unless they've already been winterized. Fisher Park was busted. The city staff did work a ton of work in order to get that open on time for today's scorching hot weather. I do have a short week next week. On Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll be out of the office and out of cell phone range. Natalie, I will be able to enjoy a little bit of a camping trip next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Staff, of course, are in the office to help you. I do want to congratulate the Wellington West BIA on a very successful Taste of Wellington last week. Kitchissippi, I hope you're enjoying this wonderful late summer. If you ever have any questions, or is there anything I can do to be of assistance to you, don't hesitate to give me a call. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.